Hey, you're the newest member of the GUNTALK After Show Club. Yeah, you're already a member since you downloaded the After Show, and that means you're serious about shooting, safety, and gun-related issues. Man, if you come to the right place, you're among friends and like-minded people here. Hey, if you're on hold, stay there, because Tom is coming back to the microphone. And during the After Show, you can take your time and really dig into those issues. So once again, here's Tom Gresham, our show producer Jim Kinsey, Michael, and Michelle.
All right, we are now in the after show. Tom Gresham here, of course, because, well, who else would be here? You guys all gathered up over there? Michael, Michelle, Jim, and whoever has wandered in.
Present.
And spoken for.
Just us three.
Then nobody here but us chickens.
Yeah.
All right, before we get going, guys, we had a caller earlier who is not on with us, but he had a question, and I wanted to address it because I get the emails about this all the time. He actually sent me an email, then he called the show, and he says, hey, there's somebody making a comment online about the Sandy Hook killer using an AR-15, and we all know that he didn't use an AR-15. That was left in the car, and he used handguns. And I want to say, stop it. Just stop saying that. It's not true. I don't know who first came up with the whole idea of he didn't use an AR-15. Yes, Adam Lanza used an AR-15 to kill everybody. Every person in that school was shot with a modern sporting rifle, an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. And it does us no good. We look like morons when we keep saying, no, he didn't use that. Well, yeah, the Connecticut State Police say that, look, this is what he used. And they've got the information. So can we please stop repeating the nonsense emails that we get about this stuff? And before we go any further with anything like this, come on, what did I do? I put into a little Google search, guns used in Newtown massacre, and boom, third thing that came up is this story. So I would just ask everybody, all this stuff that you think you know, please confirm it. Find out if you actually do know what you're talking about, because when we stand up or make posts or make comments in newspaper, in the comment section, things like this, we look like idiots because it's just wrong. And I get this probably twice a week. If somebody say, well, of course, he never used any of the AR-15s. Yes, he did.
That brings up a good point.
Crazy mass murder. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
That brings up a great point, Tom. What are some of the sources you use for verification? Because I love conspiracies. I love weeding them out. And,
I go to myfavoriteconspiracy.com, and it's just my favorite site, and you're allowed to post your own. And so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're... Yeah, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're afraid of something, just post it. Come on.
Cool.
No,
are there some relied sources honestly, that are stable and?
Well, first of all, you have different levels of believability, and yes, I know that the mass media can be biased on guns, but when they're reporting on something like this and they're quoting the chief of the Connecticut State Police, I believe a story in a regular newspaper or a news organization, if they're quoting the source and I can verify it by going to one or more sources and find it there, then I go, yeah, okay, that's probably true, versus just an email that comes in and says, oh, yeah, that's not really true, really, and your source for that is. So I do that. One of the things I do, we can talk a little bit about how do you find out this stuff. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Google, except for the fact that it is, a million horsepower engine out there.
Right.
And so they have a thing called Google Alerts. And what it really is, it's like the old style clipping service. You used to pay somebody to send you news stories that had to do with a certain subject matter. Mm-hmm. Well, now you just set up a Google Alert, and each day it'll send you an email with a link to all the news stories that came up about, and you put in the terms you want. Assault weapon, self-defense use of guns, gun confiscation, or these are some of the ones that I have, home invasions. And I get all of these stories sent to me, and then I click on them, and I go to that newspaper or that TV station's story about this, and that's how I find out about this stuff.
I go to Alex Jones, and I just wait for 9 months for it to become true.
There you go. And who's it? Al Bell? Who's the guy at night? Art Bell. Art Bell.
He's actually
there you
coming
go.
back. He's doing a podcast thing.
He's been what, like in another galaxy, and they abducted him?
The Philippines, if I'm not mistaken, actually.
Same thing. Yeah. That's right. Alpha Centauri or the Philippines, either one. So Art Bell, he is coming back, huh?
Yeah.
He actually was back on the air for, I think, a week.
About a week or
and
two.
A half or two, yeah. And he got in an argument with somebody over some tech issues, and he says, then I'm done. Forget it. I'm done. So I'll just do a podcast out of my trailer in the desert.
I love that guy.
Okay, here's the question. When you got a trailer in the desert, how do you get enough aluminum foil to go around the whole thing?
Yeah. Well,
where are you going to get that much tin foil?
Reynolds is sponsored it.
That's right. Sponsored by Reynolds Wrap, maker of fine hats everywhere. Yeah. So there. And I know. So there come people who are going to write me and say, you don't understand. This guy really gets it. He's really on top of it. Okay, fine. I don't know. Guys. Oh, good grief. So you guys been shooting? Anything?
No, I'm still reeling from SHOT Show.
That's right. Oh. Jim was with me over there.
Yeah, and they're throwing things at me now. We weren't.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Jim. You I always yammer on about SHOT Show. Give them your notes on what it's like to be in the middle of
it. La.
Not listening. Whatever you imagine SHOT Show is multiplied by about 7. It's that huge, and it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
It is, isn't it? It's just no matter where you go.
Yeah.
You just like everywhere you turn, it's like, okay, it's not a table of guns. It's an area the size of 4 of your houses. Yeah. And that's just one manufacturer.
Well, and
that's just one booth.
And
that's one booth, seriously.
That's the pros that have been around forever. And then you go down in the basement, it's the first-timers that are getting booths.
Yeah.
And it's like they got some really cool, just little oddball stuff that, it may or may not make the market. That's kind of their proving ground. But I've got some plans for next year.
You guys are truly rubbing salt in this.
No, I've got some plans for next year.
That's right, It just depends on if you're on the naughty list or the nice list. There you go. Tell them about it when I put the GT20 in your hand.
I was going to say that was the coolest part, and that's not just a stroke. It is just awesome. It's kind of like I've been driving a decent car for a while, and then somebody gives you a Lamborghini and says, go ahead and drive it. And you're like, I don't know if I want to drive it, but okay.
Okay, this is, I got to tell you, this was so funny. We're sitting there, we're getting set up for the show. We got the GT20 over there, and I'm handling it. I hand it to Jim, and he's holding it. He goes, wow, that's cool, and kind of works the slide. I said, try the trigger. Oh. Right? That's what I did.
Yeah. I hate to say it's an air trigger because that makes it sound like it's real soft. It's just smooth and even, and it's just there.
There's a nice, there's a nice take-up, so you're not going to blunder into it, but when it stops the take-up, then you get no perceivable movement, and it just goes off. And it's not light. It's probably in the 4.5 pound range.
Yeah. But it feels
but
great.
It's crisp.
Actually, my wife was with us, and she shot it, and she's like, oh, her biggest thing was the weight of it. And I'm like, it's because it's a real gun, honey.
Yeah, it is. I mean, make no mistake, this is a heavy gun. It's a big steel 5-inch barrel gun. And you know what? For 10 millimeter, you want it to be fairly big and fairly heavy. Now, the grip is not real wide. It's not real fat. It's kind of a skinny single-stack grip.
Yeah, it fits the hand real well. At least my hand fits well because I got mitts that'll go around just about anything. But it just felt so cool. It was almost scary. It's like, God, maybe I shouldn't have picked it up.
Yeah, that's one of those deals you're going, and the problem is you're thinking, you go, okay, it doesn't take you long. You start recalculating. Okay, I could afford that if I sold that. Okay, we can make that happen. We'll do that.
We could use a small
I know people
house.
People are wondering. It's $1,400. It's
which is actually
it's not cheap,
but it's pretty reasonable when you think of it. First of all, it's a SIG. It's not a high point.
Yeah,
it's a SIG.
And you know what? It's less than the GT10 was.
Correct. Yep.
Because that was
$300.
Is that 60?
17?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
$300. Yeah, I thought that's $1,700 for that one. So it's less, and you get a SIG, and you get 2 mags with it, and it's got fiber optic front sight, adjustable rear sight, ambidextrous safety, and a grip. See, the grip on that gun, they've never put that on a 220 before. Because I found that grip from Hogue, and I said, "Can you make this for a 220?" They said, "We don't think so." I said, "Well, call Hogue, see if they can do that for you." And they called me and said, "Well, Hogue didn't want to do it." They said, and he said, "Yeah, but we're going to order X of them." Oh. Okay, I think we can do that.
Yeah. Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, we got that. So we should get one in here in about a week or two that we can take out. We're going to do shoot it to the range, do a little video on it, so we'll be able to put that in. But, for those that want to get an order in. Oh, and here's the other thing people need to understand. We're going to take orders until April 1 or until we get to 1,000 orders. At 1,000, it's shut off because it says on the side of the gun, 1 of 1,000, and that's how many are going to be made. So if we hit 1,000, before we get to April 1, then orders stop. So it's, use it or lose it. If you don't get in, that's the way it goes. All right. Why 10 millimeter? You got a 10. Why do you like shooting a 10?
Because they don't make an 11? Yet.
You're such a guy.
It's just cool. It's like anything else. Like, I get a motorcycle. Yeah, what size engine? I'm going to get a bigger one. Their 10s are just cool. Right. They're just cool.
Yeah, they are. They're just fun. Yeah. The other thing is, honestly,
hog hunting.
The real reason is because not many people have them, and that's why we like them.
Yeah, could you imagine hog hunting with that?
Yes, that's what I had in mind when I spec'd out the sights and everything. I said, this will be a hog gun. That's what this is for. And then everybody said, well, I'm going to carry it. Okay, cool. That's fine. You can use it for deer hunting. You can use it for anything. But in my mind, I was seeing this as a hog gun.
So you're coming out with your own line of ammunition?
Well, that's interesting. You mentioned that. Strange. The SIG is now making 10 millimeter ammo.
Mm-hmm. Really?
I don't know if you know, SIG actually got big time into ammo. They bought a company that made ammo, ran that for about a year, and then they started moving the whole thing up to their facilities up in New Hampshire. And so they have a whole line of ammo. Now, of course, we also are working with Mike McNett over at Double Tap. He's like the master of all things 10 millimeter and has cool ammo. So he also has the equalizer ammo where you shoot 2 projectiles out every time you pull the trigger. That's kind of fun. So, I don't know. We got a lot of things going, but that's, anyway, that was kind of our exciting deal out of SHOT Show on top of Jim wandering around and, drooling on all the guns.
Right. And I didn't get incarcerated, so that was good. No trouble there.
That's always a good thing. It's true.
We had a great 20th anniversary dinner. That was a blast.
Yep, we did. Threw a little party and had a dinner and just had a good old time. So, it's a fun crew. It truly is. Yeah. Michelle, what have you been doing?
Well, we had talked about what we were going to do for the new year, any changes that we were going to make. And one of them that I said for my New Year resolution was to just go have fun on the range. And while you were all in SHOT Show, some lady and co-ed spouses went out onto our indoor range. And gosh, we had a blast. It was just a ball. There was about 7 of us, had a couple of booze and bounced around, shot each other's guns, and it was a great time. And again, you leave the range, you're like, okay, when are we going to do it again? So we have another dinner date for next week. It's fun.
That's great. That's super. Michelle, so how many women are involved in this party that you're holding now?
There are five women that are involved there, and about 4 spouses. It's fun. One of the ladies that's coming along is I'm going to say, she is in her 20s. I'm not going to say her age. even though she's a baby, I'm not going to call her out on it. But she's going out with us and having a good time. And I guess the most fascinating part is it's not that they were anti-gun. There just wasn't a lot of that in their life growing up, and to get into it now, they're like, oh, it really is a lot of fun. I can see why you like it. So it's good to share that with somebody.
Isn't that interesting? It's kind of fun when somebody has that reaction. You're thinking, well, yeah, it's fun. That's what we've been saying all this time.
Right. But until they do it, and if it's done, I think it has to be approached right. And we approached it with the ways of training on 22s. It's, not a lot of noise, not a lot of recoil, and obviously a very relaxed atmosphere with your friends. And her spouse didn't know much about it either, so they were both in the learning mode, which I think took a lot of pressure off of it, too.
Now, what kind of questions did you get? Any about safety?
And we went over that before we had even gone out onto the range. They already had an experience once previously with us as well. But so that was already taken care of. It was just refresher, getting out there and refreshing them. So safety is always first.
Isn't it fun? I'm reminded of they talk about the 5 stages of hunters, where you start out, you're young and you want to shoot everything, and then you want to shoot a big one, and then at the end you want to take people out and have them go hunting with you. And I think with shooting, it's very similar. At a certain point, it becomes as much, if not more, fun to take somebody else out and get them into it.
I'd agree. I think all of these guys would agree. I know Jim does a lot of work with that, and so does Michael, taking a lot of people out onto the range. And I think we would be doing an injustice to what we enjoy if we didn't introduce more people to it. And
I would like people to know, I mean, the three of you guys, you literally introduced hundreds of people between the three of you to shooting. These are not just folks who decide to work in radio. These are people who actually really love shooting. And you guys do instruction, you take people out, you get involved. And I just want to say it's pretty cool. And big shout out to the three of you.
Well, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Well, except for you, Michael.
Except for Michael, yeah. Do you know, I don't see any difference, really. I mean, a lot of people think shooting, you guys are nuts.
No.
This is beat up on Michael Day.
This is every day. I'm used to it. It's cool.
Oh, okay. That's right. Welcome to your life. Yeah.
That's why I'm gray already.
Do you notice that people don't shoot often have a hard time understanding that it is a sport and a hobby? And kind of like Michelle said, they don't realize how much fun it is until they do it. But if you told somebody you're into... we had built a dirt track car and we go out. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool, and they can absorb it. But if you say you're a shooter and they're not, it's like,
yeah, I never got this kind of excitement when I was teaching an underwater basket weaving class. So
yeah, but it's almost not.
The thing is
accepted.
that the straw gets soggy that way. It's just ugly. It's terrible.
But do you know what I mean? It's
yeah. Well, you know what it is, Jim? It's if they don't have any knowledge about the recreational part of it, all they have is what they've gotten out of the news. And when they hear about guns in the news, it's crime-related. And so they equate guns to crime. And in some cases, they're not actually moving from center. They're moving from the misinformation stage. Not necessarily not liking guns, but just being misinformed. So you got to bring them all the way past center over to the other side. It's kind of a long way to bring them.
Right, but they believe they're in the center.
Well, yeah.
That's the battle.
Everybody believes they're in the center. I don't care who you are. You think you're in the center of all things. When you're in politics, they used to do an experiment and ask people, draw a line and describe where you were, and most people thought they were in the center or somewhere in that center range.
Right.
You know what? Not everybody can be in the center.
You wouldn't have the
We're out of room.
Yeah.
It's like they say, not all children are above average. That's kind of an impossibility.
Yeah.
So now I did have one guy who was asked to describe himself on politics, and they said, all right, they had a whole group, and they said, if you're, got a left wing, you need to be on that side of the room, and if you're right wing, you need to be over on that side of the room. And everybody split up, and if you're in the middle, kind of pick where you are. And the group kind of spread out across the room, kind of staking out where they thought they were on the political spectrum. And this one guy got over to one side and kept walking up and down the wall, back and forth and back and forth. I said, well, can you please find where you are? He says, I'm trying to, but there's a wall in my way.
He's honest.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not just conservative. I'm looking to get through this wall and way down the hall.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah. Tell you what, you want to take a quick break here, and we can come back and rejoin this thing?
Yep, sir.
Alrighty.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
The Ruger LC9S, a striker-fired version of the award-winning Ruger LC9 pistol, has a short, light, crisp trigger pull for faster, more accurate shooting. It's just slightly larger than the incredibly compact LCP and provides personal protection in a slim, lightweight, concealable handgun. It also fits all existing LC9 accessories, including lasers, holsters, and extended 9-round magazine. The Ruger LC9S, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
All right, we're back. It is the after show where, well, it's just goofy. I mean, I'm normal, but it's these other people I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
I'd like to find my spot on the floor.
Oh, Lordy. So, Michael, how's the truck?
You had to pick the sore subject. Actually,
going for the kill.
Yeah, well, we just put new... What did I do to it this week? God, it's something new every week, so I could just say it's running right now. So that's a good thing.
Well, it was running when you got to work. Who knows when you go back out?
No, he means he couldn't shut it off. It's running right now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's running even as we speak out there in the parking lot. Okay, that'll work.
I love the thing, but it's gonna have to be just a picture on my wall here shortly.
There you go. Now, how are classes going? Still a lot of interest in concealed carry classes?
Here in the area, yeah. I know this next year we're booked through at least the halfway mark in the year. So,
Really?
yes, that's very, very cool. Now, this year we're going to start taking our classes and making them a little bit smaller. I don't have the time right now to take on big classes, and I think you get a little better instruction that way too. A lot of times. So we're going to go a little bit smaller in class size. I think we're going to cap it at about 7 to 10 this year instead of at the 12 to 15 we had the instructors for it, but I'd like to go a little smaller this year. So that's definitely picking up. And we've seen a lot of interest in just wanting to go out and do just range shooting and not necessarily CCW, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Now, is that after people have come in to get their concealed carry permit, then they start shooting, or do you know where it's coming from?
It sounds to me like just new people wanting to get into the shooting sports. Because it's not people that already had a CCW permit. In fact, I've been talking to people at work that are not even related in the firearm industry that are saying, hey, one of them approached me the other day. I have a whole bunch of guns that were given to me from my grandfather. I've shot him once or twice. What do I do to get back into this or to learn more about them? And, hey, well, your best bet is to schedule a class and get out and learn about them first.
You told them the first thing to do is to load them all. We joke about it, but you do run into people that say, they literally don't know what to do. They have this firearm. They have no idea even how to check to see if it's unloaded.
Exactly. My aunt recently, she lost her husband, unfortunately, and she gave my father a call and said, hey, could you come over here? I found a loaded pistol in my sock drawer. I don't know how to unload it. And so he went over there to unload it. But, this gentleman had, if I had to venture to guess, hundreds of firearms, right? And he was just one of the types of people that never involved his family with it for some reason.
Interesting.
So I'm not really sure why that is, but she did not know how to load or unload this pistol that she found. And so you see one end of the spectrum to the other. One person wants to involve his entire family, and then sometimes they don't even know he's got a gun. It's weird.
Right. Exactly. And I know, Michelle, at the store, you have people walk in with a gun in the box, and they don't know if it's loaded, and you sure got to find out before you do anything with it.
That's exactly true. Taking possession of that and getting that firearm open is the first priority, always. Even if it's new out of the showcase, that's the first thing we do.
When I did the radio show from your store, we had a guy, first thing he did was bring me his gun. He's pulling it out of the zippered compartment, and he's reaching for it in the zippered compartment, and I'm reaching for it in the zippered compartment, because at this point, I'd kind of like to have control of this thing. How there are certain people that your little alarm bells are going off?
Right.
And it worked out. It was unloaded and all, but still, it was, you say, let's get the action open on that. Let's just be careful. Goes back to, and I think people are starting to get a little bit more about the need to be completely absorbed in the safety aspect. I get a lot of emails now from people saying, I'm glad you're talking about it on the radio. I had this happen to me when I was a kid, or, I wasn't as safe as I should be, and now I am, or I was at the shooting range and I saw somebody do this. I tell you, the public ranges, those are the ones that you get the stories from. I want to switch just a little bit to the new guns that are coming out. We have, one of the guns we did not talk about, I did never mention. There was the coolest new shotgun that Benelli introduced. The first time that Benelli's ever made an over and under. It's called the 828U. And in talking to the guys there, they said of course, Benelli is connected to Beretta. And you'd think, it's just a remade Beretta, because who's been making over and unders forever. They said, no. We took our guys and said, go make an over and under and don't look at anybody else's gun. Don't rely on anything else. Don't even have an idea of how to make an over and under. And they completely made a different mechanism, different cocking mechanism, different everything. And it looks great and feels wonderful. I cannot wait to get one of those in and try it.
Now, are they always in the same gauge? I have no knowledge on over and unders, Tom. Are they always the same gauge?
No. You mean the two barrels?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Generally, the two barrels are the same gauge. I don't know of anybody that has like a 10 and a 12 and a 20 gauge, for instance.
Right.
Way too much opportunity to drop the small shot shell into the big hole, have it slide down the barrel, and then you put, because you could drop a 20 down a 12 gauge barrel and it'll go about 8 inches down the barrel and stop. And then what will happen is you'll look and you'll say, I forgot to load that. And then you'll drop a 12 gauge shell behind it, and you've got a loaded 20 gauge shell up in front of it in the barrel.
Boom.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know of anybody who makes a multi-gauge over and under or side by. They do, however, make side-by-side shotguns that have a third barrel that's a rifle barrel.
Rifle, right. I was aware of that.
Yep. A drilling. And there is somebody making a 3-barrel shotgun. Awful thing. The balance, I mean it's not a 2x4, it's a 4x4 that you're trying to swing.
Safe to say it won't be the GT25?
Seriously thinking, what are you guys doing here? I mean, if you want 3 shots, there's a Mossberg pump in your future. I mean,
There you
really.
go.
So, I mean, it just, you look at it and you go, once again, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, it's like the world's largest revolver I was showing Michael today.
Oh, that thing is ridiculous. It took 2 guys to carry the thing. Come on. What are
And
you
your
going to do
point?
with that? If you're going to mount
you're
it in
gonna
a
have 2
helicopter.
guys carry it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it's we don't even have to shoot it. We just have 2 guys walk around with it because we've got the biggest revolver. There you go.
Oh, man.
Enough
Pretty
said,
practical.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, practical is not always required.
Well, you've seen that double-barreled 1911, haven't you?
It's not a double barrel.
A double gun smacked
it's a
together.
double gun. It's like they take 2 1911s and weld them together.
It's like a
Well,
20...
if you're going to do that, why not put 4 of them in there and just put a bar across all the triggers?
Yeah.
You just yank on the bar and they're all going off.
That's a cool idea.
I'll get right on that. You guys finish up without me.
Actually, I was trying to be silly and you guys both went for it. You say, I like that one. That's
I'm
cool.
getting on the patent office right now, man.
You guys wrap up
Michelle,
the after show. I'm heading to the shop.
Michelle, can you get control of these guys?
There is
Gee,
no
really.
way. They cannot be contained now.
Took the batteries out of her taser already, so she's out of luck.
It's a preemptive move.
But knowing Michelle, that's probably not the only arm she has.
No.
with her, so you never know.
She's got 4 or 5 tasers on her every given time.
There you go. You're one of those self-taser guys, aren't you? I know. Okay. I had a friend who said, I had one of these little hand taser doohickeys. He said, how bad can it be? And he stabbed himself in the thigh with it.
I'm going to tell you a story real quick, Tom.
No.
This is
Holy
no doubt.
smoke.
I was driving a stick shift about 10 years ago, my old car, and I had a taser. I was working as a barback at the time, and I had a taser in my pocket that did not have a safety on it. And I'm shifting, and I'm just enjoying the weather with my T-tops off.
No.
And all of a sudden I'm going, and I'm in the side of the street, and I have no idea what's going on, and I can't reach my hand into my pocket because I'm hitting the actual taser going, and finally, the thing, I don't know if the battery died or if it just stopped, but it was unpleasant. Very
You're
much so.
electrocuting yourself
While
going
driving.
down the street. Okay.
Yes.
Did you have a spare pair of shorts with you?
No, but I did have a nice big burn on my left thigh from where it contacted all the change in my pocket. That was pretty sweet.
Holy cow. Well, this is like the time my dog got hung up in an electric fence, and so to help him out, I grabbed a hold of him, and now we're both getting zapped. Yeah, we're having a good time. Oh, yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, it's like the Three Stooges deal. Yeah. Aye. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of if there was a takeaway for SHOT Show, probably it's that manufacturers are turning out new stuff again, and as I'm just looking online, ammo, with the exception of 22 rimfire, which is available, still not like it was, but ammo is available in all caliber style. You guys seeing any shortages at all?
Still having trouble finding bulk 22.
Yeah, that's about it, though.
Well, yeah, that's what I say, 22. But other than that, 9, 40, 45, it's all there?
It's been a little low on 9 as far as I've been looking lately, but it is available. Maybe it's just I've had bad luck in the last couple of stores.
Yeah, I find it almost everywhere.
I just need to go out to Cleveland.
380 is tough.
Yeah.
380 is really tough. There's so many people carrying 380s that ammunition is tough to come by right
you
now.
can find some 380 ball.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You can't find the hollow point.
That's interesting. We know what it is. 380 is generally made on the same lines as 9mm. They just have to switch over the loading machines. And they're making so much 9, they hate to shut it down to throw 380 on it. So they're having a balance back and forth. Yeah. And, of course, now, if they're making the really good defensive ammo, they can charge a good bit more for the good 380 ammo. But that's very interesting, Michelle. I was not aware that 380 was a problem. And, yeah, I mean, how many new 380 pistols have we seen come out in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, the popularity is just incredible right now with the 380s.
Well, I think they'll probably start tooling for production of more of that then, I would imagine.
Well, now people are getting wise,
Really?
and they're stepping up from the little LCPs to the slightly larger ones that are more manageable with less recoil and it has paid off. The thing I got out of SHOT, I thought, Tom, you probably noticed too, is, and the numbers reflected in shooters, but I saw a lot more women at SHOT Show this year.
Incredible. A lot more women in the business.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The shooter side of it we know has got increased, but it's also increased proportionally in the industry side of it, and it's great.
Adding on to that, a lot of businesses about products for women shooters, more so than I've ever seen. And I have seen several attempts over the years of people bringing out a line of products for women shooters or for women hunters, and it just didn't go anywhere. It was too early. The market wasn't there.
It wasn't the audience, yep.
Yeah, but now it's there. I mean, it's just millions of women getting into shooting. So
it was cool.
It's just very cool. So there you go. We're going to go to there are several all women shooting events that we'll be covering. So we'll have the ladies 3-gun. We'll be doing that one for the TV and some other fun stuff.
And I think that ties into a lot of what we're seeing. There's so many more women getting involved that if the wives get involved, they want the education for their children. And if they know that it's going to be a safe atmosphere, the families will come right along with that. So it's very encouraging for our future.
Okay, interesting you said that. In the stats I was just looking at about increasing women shooters, one of the things that really struck me is that of new women shooters, 73% of them had gone and taken some sort of training.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And just, when you work with the public, that's the first thing that they want to know. When can I introduce my kids? It's also personal. You've really got to decide that with your spouse. But education is key. And if the moms are comfortable, that, like I say, the families come right along. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah, it is. There you go. All right, guys, enough of this shenanigans. Time for us to go do whatever it is we do when we're not having fun doing this. Wait. Why would we do that? Let's keep doing this.
I have a cot.
Yeah.
Sleeping bag. We're good.
All righty. Well, we will pick this up again next week. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for Jim for coming out to Vegas and ramrodding the efforts out there.
Thank you. It was a blast.
It was. It's fun stuff, and we'll keep this up. Oh wait, I just see a sign. I just look it online. There's a sign posted for Thunder Ranch. Clint Smith's deal. Right. They just saw a sign in Texas they took a picture of. It says, "Weapons and Puppies." Yeah, the sign says, "The best weapons and puppies" in front of this store. I'm going, okay, that's got to be Texas. I mean, where else would they do that?
Not New Jersey? Wait a minute.
Not New Jersey. Weapons and puppies. Things that are both of them are nice and fun when they're warm.
Both are man's best friend.
But that's right. Happiness is a warm puppy.
Okay. On that note.
All right. And with that, we've said quite enough. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, we appreciate you listening to the Gun Talk After Show. Be sure and tell your friends, and remember, everything Gun Talk is available 24/7 at guntalk.com. Be sure and join Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael for another Gun Talk After Show next week right here